Alright, so the difference between sequences and series is a sequence is a list of numbers separated by commas. And I will tell you that if you do not know this and you do not have this written down, it will cost you probably 1 point because this is one question on there. So you want to make sure you understand this. So a sequence is a list of numbers separated by commas. Series is a list of numbers separated by addition sign is right. Or your plus. So, what should actually this say? I want you to look at this, and I want you to read the definitions, and I want you to correct the mistake that teachers over the years maybe have not caught. It should say series is right. And I will tell you that on your exam this year, if all goes well, it will be changed because I told them I don't think it's fair for them to write the wrong word there and they make a mistake and then they put it in your test, and that's what the difference is between one and another. Like it'll say, what's the sequence? And it'll be like, one will have a plus and one will have commas. I'm like, how can they expect you guys if they don't even do it? So I will make sure that you guys see that, and I will point it out on your test. And I will point it out on your final, just because I feel that you guys were kind of slighted because it was on there and I didn't even see it until yesterday. So this should say series because it's separated by your addition sign. Alright, so with that said and done, let's begin. It says here, it says find the sum of the first 20 numbers of the series 45, 15, 5. What is the number? So, is this geometric or arithmetic? That's your first question always. How do you get from 45 to 15? How do you get from 15 to 5? What are we doing? If I were to add something to it, I couldn't get that same thing. So it's not arithmetic, geometric. How am I getting from 45 to 15, 15 to 5? Dividing by, you're saying 3, or multiplying. If we're dividing by 3, what are we really multiplying by? 1/3. Alright? So, remember that R is always second divided by your first in your geometric series. So, if you didn't know the 3, how they're getting it is you take the 15 divided by the 45, and you get 1/3. So we said it's geometric, so we go to our sheet over here, and it's geometric. We're finding the sum of n terms, so this is the one we are using. So it is S sub n is equal to G1 times 1 minus Rn over 1 minus R. G1 is my first term. So we have 45 times 1 minus R, which we said is 1/3. What's N? The number of terms, and how many terms do we have? We have 3 here, but what are we finding the sum of the 3 terms? We're finding the sums of 20. So I got to put a 20 in there. All over 1 minus 1/3. I want all eyes and ears because this is very important. This will cause you a lot of problems if you don't do this. What must you have on the bottom? Parentheses. If you do not have parentheses on the bottom of a division, and there's more than one thing down there, even if it's just 2/3, that's still more than one thing. You need to have those parentheses. You're going to get it wrong. So make sure you practice putting this into your calculator. You should get 67.5. I want you to read number 2 and see if you see a mistake. Sequence again should be series. Because it's separated by addition sign. All right, so find the first 20 terms of the series, and we have 7 to 14 to 21. How do I get from 7 to 14 and 14 to 21? Add 7. So I'm adding 7. So that's arithmetic. So I go down here, and it's arithmetic. I'm finding the sum of this. And now the question is, do I have the last term or do I not have that last term? So do I have do I know what the 20th term is of this series? No. So that means I have to use the sum if you don't have the last number. So I'm using this equation. So I'm going to go, I'm using, I'll do it here, I guess. I'm using S sub n is equal to n divided by 2, and then 2a1 plus n minus 1 d. N is the number of terms, so there's 20 terms, so it's 20 divided by 2. 2a1, if you don't know what these are when I'm saying them, like a1 is first term, you can add that right there. N is the number of terms. So a1 is 7 plus, so we have number of terms is your 20 minus my 1. D is your difference. So if you need to, write D as difference, which is my 7. And then throw that into your calculator to make sure you know how to put it in your calculator. Might sound weird, but make sure you know how to throw it in your calculator. Because if you don't practice putting it in your calculator, I will tell you that that will cause you probably a couple points if you didn't practice it at least once. All right, any questions on that? Anybody not get it that needs help? All right. Right here, number 3, it says, which is the explicit rule for the nth term of the geometric sequence? So is this a sequence? Let's make sure that word's right. Is this a sequence? Yeah. Yes, because it is separated by commas. What I want you to write on your paper, though, is explicit rule means equation or formula. Now, if you are writing on a separate sheet of paper, ladies and gentlemen, you make sure you transfer that stuff on this paper, because this is where I'm at when I'm saying to write it. This is where I'm saying to write it, either front or back of this, because this is what you can use on the test tomorrow. So explicit rule means equation. We're talking geometric nth term. So I'm going to go to geometric, and I'm doing the nth term. So right here is what I'm doing. So I have Gn is equal to G1 times r to the n minus 1. So first term is your 4, 4, 8. R is always your second divided by first. So second was 56 divided by 448. Math fraction gives me 1/8. So times 1/8 to the n minus 1. And that's G sub n. Nice thing is I am YouTubing this, so first hour is already up there, and this hour will be up there, and I should be able to get through all the terms, so you'll be able to kind of watch it if you want to see it again. Any questions on number 3? While I'm waiting for a few people to finish up number 3, just want to make sure also you remember how important studying for this test is. This is 100 points. This can bring you from an A to a B or a B to an A. This can bring you from a D to a C, or if you are lower than a D, passing. Make sure you study for this, all right? So, biggest thing here we want to do is to write out the series. So since it says to write out a series, what are we going to separate each number with? Addition sign. So literally it wants you to put in a 1 here. So it's going to go 4 times 1 plus 7. And then put a 2 in. 4 times 2 plus 7. And then put a 3 in. 4 times 3 plus 7. And then you're going to put a 4 in. 4 times 4 plus 7. And then the last one it says to do is put a 5 in. So 5 times 4 plus 7. When you put that in your calculator, you'll get 11, 15, 19, 23, and then 27. Lastly, you have 11 plus 15 plus 19 plus 23 plus 27. Number 5 is the same way, but they want you to start with 3 and go to 6. So you're literally going to go 3 times 2 raised to the 3 minus 1 and get a number. Now I will tell you, either put 3 minus 1 in your head and say, oh, that's 2, or put parentheses around it. Personally, I think you guys can do 3 minus 1. I would put a 2, so you don't have to worry about all these parentheses all the time. But it's up to you. But that's a 3. Next number I'm going to put in class is what?
4.
A 4. 4 minus 1. In class, what's my next number I'm going to put in?
5.
A 5. Getting a couple more people. In class, what's the next number? 6. So I'm going to put 3 times 2 to the 6. And do I have to put another number in? Nope, because it goes to 6. So when you put those into your calculator, you should get your series to be 12 plus 24 plus 48 plus 96. Write it in sigma notation. Sigma notation, what you want to do is you have to find out still if it's arithmetic or geometric. That's always your first question. So, how did I get from 15 to 18 to 21 and so forth? I am adding 3. So I'm adding 3, so it's arithmetic. And I want to go and find an equation for the nth term, so I'm going to use this. So I'm going to use a1 plus your parentheses n minus 1d. And I'm finding the equation for the nth term, so I'm going to leave n as n. First term is 15 plus my n minus 1, d is 3. I distribute that 3, so I have 15 plus 3n minus 3. 15 minus 3 is 12, and then I have 3n plus 12. The only thing else I have now to do is to write my sigma notation in front and put n equals 1 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So for this equation, because we started with the first term, that's why it's a 1 there. But I check it to make sure. 3 times 1 gives me 3 plus 12 is 15. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 12 is 18. And 6 times 3 is 18 plus your 12 gives me 30. So it does check. This is the right one. Alright, to liven you guys up, make sure you guys are all awake, I want you to tell your partner what, or someone around you, what is this? Is this arithmetic, geometric? If it's arithmetic, tell your partner what D is. If it's geometric, tell them what R is.
Geometric, guys. I think. Yeah.
I hear geometric, but what is R then?
7.
R is 7. So it is geometric with R being 7. So, what one, I want you to tell your partner, which one are you going to use to write your equation? The question to you is, I heard a couple I don't know. Do you want to find the nth term or do you want to find the sum? You want to always be finding the nth term when you're doing this. So you're finding equations. So if you need to on your sheet, write equation so that you know also that you would use that for your nth term. If you need an equation, you would use this one. This is only used if it says the word sum. So I'm going to use that one right there. So I'm using your Gn is equal to G1 times R to the n minus 1. G1 is your first term. R we said was 7. 49 divided by 7 is 7. It's the n minus 1. Only thing left, it says to write sigma notation. So I got to put my sigma. And it's n equals 1 to how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. And always put it in. 1 minus 1 is 0. Anything raised to the 0 is 1. So 1 times 7 is 7. And then you can put the 2 in. And then 3. And it will give you these numbers. The geometrics are. Yeah. Alright. How many ways can 7 people finish a race? Factorial. So 7 factorial is right. Throw that in your calculator. You get 50/40. Alright. If I were you on this next one, to help you out on your test and on your exam, I would write out the first 7 terms or first 7 rows of your Pascal's triangle on the back of your sheet. Because if you have that, it will save you time on the test and it'll save you time on your exam. Alright, so I would make sure you do that. Huh? Okay, so I would do all the way up to 7. I will tell you, I promise you, I will not do higher than 7 on expansion. There's another one up there. Here, actually, I might have one right here.
Thank you.
Alright, if you are finishing that up, that's fine. I'm just going to, I think a lot of you already have number 9 done anyway, so I'm going to do number 9. Number 9 is it has the power of 7, so that means you need that 7th row. So you literally would go 1 plus 7 plus 21 plus 35 plus 35 plus 21 plus 7 plus 1. Then you do your A's. So I have A7, A6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And B is 0, 1, 2, 3, B4, 5, 6, 7. Questions? I will tell you on tomorrow's test, for sake of time, I did take off number 10 just because I think a lot of you know how to do it. It's just the fact that it takes time, and I know that I want to make sure you guys have enough time to finish the test. So I did take off number 7. I will tell you if it's on your exam next week, but I don't think it is. No, but next week we're just reviewing for your exam. It's supposed to be. We'll talk about that in Spanish. 3,000 factorial. That means 3,000 times 299 times, and I'm looking at 297 on the bottom, so I'm going to just go 298 times 297 factorial, because this still is factorial up to this point. And it's over 297 factorial. So these cancel out, so you would literally just put that into your calculator, and you should get 26730,600. Backside, when you're evaluating right here, 22 over 3, remember you're using this right down here. It's rows over elements, just so you remember that this is your row, those are your elements. So you have 22 factorial, because that's the same thing, over r factorial times, and it says to subtract them, so 22 minus 3 factorial. Again, like some of you found out yesterday, it's very important to do what? Parentheses around the outside of the bottom. Make sure you put those parentheses in the right location. And I just put it in the wrong location on this one, didn't I, Mallory? You did that yesterday, remember? So, again, so when you have that, this one thing you want to make sure you go, this parenthesis, the factorial is on the outside of your parenthesis there. So you put that in your calculator. Make sure you practice putting it in your calculator. You should get 1540. Alright, tell your partner when you are finding the sum of integers from 1 to 700, is this arithmetic or geometric? And it is arithmetic. Anytime you are counting, it's arithmetic. So you're finding the sum, you know your last term, so you're coming here, it's arithmetic, you're finding the sum, you know the last term. This is the equation we're using. So we have here, S of n is equal to n over 2, a1 plus an. So we have 700 over 2. First term is 1, last term is 700. Should get 245,350. This says to find the sum of a geometric series. Question to you is, do we know the last term or how many terms there are here? No, it's an infinite, isn't it? Because it doesn't say find the sum of the first 20, or so it's so they're finding the sum of the infinite. So that means you're finding the sum, and I actually wrote on mine sum, so you might want to write sum of the infinite. So it's G1 over 1 minus R. First term is your G1, 7546, and then 1 minus R. R is always, how do I find R?
It's the second number and divided by the first.
Second divided by first. So we have 1078 divided by your first, 7546, math fraction. And you know why I say math fraction, right? It puts it to the fraction on your calculator. And you get 1/7. So you put 1/7 here. Again, what must be on the bottom? Parentheses when you're putting it in. So you are going to get 26411 divided by 3, or 8803.66 repeating. If you got 8803.66 repeating, but all of the answers are fractions, hopefully you know you can go math fraction and get that, or you'll have to divide out the fractions. So you want to make sure that you know how to figure out that this equals that. Alright, 15. I'm going to read you what it is, and then I want you to tell your partner where you're what equation on your sheet you're going to use. It says what is the sixth element of the 33rd row of the Pascal's triangle. I want you guys to find the formula on your formula sheet.
Good job, Paul. Good job.
So, I got this one.
All right, so a lot of you found it. Bottom right corner is right. So it says here, we are going to go rows over elements. So it's row 33, element 6. Once you have it set up like that, hopefully it's easier for you because it goes whatever's on top factorial. So 33 factorial. What's on the bottom factorial. So 6 factorial. And then you subtract them. So it's 33 minus 6 factorial on the outside. Parentheses around the bottom. 1107568. Any questions on this? All right. Write an equation for the asymptotes. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to look at this, and I want you to look at your formula sheet, and I want you to find what are we talking about when we are looking at x squared over 36 minus y squared over 16 equals 1. It looks almost like an ellipse, but what's the difference between this equation and that equation? It has a minus. So does this one have a minus?
Oh, it's hyperbole.
It's an, yep, so it is here. It's this one. So you look down here and it says asymptotes. So we are going to use that equation right there. So y equals plus or minus b(a) over x. So we have y equals plus or minus b over a x. What does 36 equal? 36 equals, yeah, so it equals a squared, which a equals 6 is what you guys were getting at. B squared is 16, so b is 4. So equation, make sure you have y equals. I know some of you on your test yesterday or quiz that you got back didn't have the y equals. So you have y equals plus or minus b, which is my 4, over a, which is my 6x. What do I got to do? Simplify it, reduce it. So y equals plus or minus 2/3 x. This under a scale change. I want you to realize that this is also on this sheet. We did get it on the sheet. So that means that right here,
you know who it is. Me.
oh, it's you.
I was going to talk to you if I could talk to you. I mean, I've already interrupted and whatnot.
I'm taping though, but I can give you 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
We're taping, so.
30 seconds. Come on, come on, come on.
Alright.
I'll sleep after that.
Alright, I will. Okay, so hopefully you guys see that A equals, what does A equal?
A equals
3. B equals 7. So if you have a circle and you are stretching it differently, what are you creating? If you have a circle and I'm going to go and create it differently, I'm creating an ellipse. So just so you know, that's why you have to find out what a squared and b squared is. So that's what it says here too. So a squared is 9, b squared is 49, 7 and 7 is 49. So your equation is x squared over 9 plus y squared over 49 is equal to 1.
Alright, this is not complete in any fashion, so they have to finish this or rewrite it neater or something. Just make sure they know that.
And you know that's what they're going to turn in, right?
What?
I said, you know that's
Yeah,
what
that's exactly.
That's it. It's done. It's as much as you got them to do more than I could ever get.
Yeah,
So
well, you know, they
I know. See ya. All right. We have here number 18. It says, I want you to look at this and I want you to determine what formulas are we going to use to determine are these circles, ellipses, hyperbolas, or parabolas. Real quickly, look at your formula sheet, point it out to your neighbor. So what are we using, guys? All right.
We're using the b squared minus 4ac.
Yep. If I were you, I heard a lot of you not knowing, I would write right here, determine, and it says determine figure or something like that, so that you know that you're using this stuff. So you know that that's what you're using. So the first thing you look at, it says a is in front of x squared. So a is 3. B is in front of xy. So b is -3. C is in front of y squared. So c is 2. Then you simply go and say b squared minus 4ac. So we have -3 squared minus 4 times 3 times c, which is 2. Eyes and ears, this is important. Either put parentheses around the -3, or you know, is -3 squared going to be positive or negative? Positive. So if I were you, I don't even put it in. I don't even put the negative in. Don't confuse it. So then I leave it out. That's 9 minus my 24, which equals a -15. If I were you also, I would write here, this means if it's negative, it's an ellipse. So I would write the word negative or put neg. I would also, it's positive, it's going to be a hyperbola. So I put POS right there. So it's going to be an ellipse is my answer. All right, number 19, ladies and gentlemen, eyes and ears. What is A on 19? 4. A squared is 16. B is 7. B squared is 49. This is an ellipse, so I have x squared over 16 plus y squared over 49 is equal to 1. An equation for a circle center right here. Also, on your formula sheet, I would write opposite. Make sure you know your center to your equation is opposite signs. And then interior and exterior is here. So, the first thing I do is I say x minus 3 squared plus y plus 5, because I'm going opposite signs, squared. And then r squared is 15 squared, which is my 225. Now, some of you on your test, what you did is you put equals. That only gives you the circle itself. This wants the exterior. So you have to come here, exterior, you have to put that sign. So your exterior is that. Last one. A squared equals what? 36. And A equals 6. B squared is 4. So B is 2. So I'm literally counting out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. I want to make sure you guys do a circle. On your test, some of you really didn't try at all, and it ended up looking like this. You should at least try to do a circle. I can't do a very good one, or an ellipse. I can't do a very good one, but I know all of you can make it so it's not looking diamond shaped. All right. So, okay, eyes and ears.
I thought we did like the dotted line to the feathers, and then the
See, this is plus. Yep. So this is plus. This is plus, so it's an ellipse. If it was a negative, that's when you would do it.
no wonder.
Because negative is your hyperbolas. Okay. Other questions? Eyes and ears. Eyes and ears. Last thing. Remember, you can use this. You can add to it for tomorrow's test. Remember, you have to save room for your final exam stuff, so don't use all of it up. But you can use this tomorrow on your test. Also, you need to bring a number 2 pencil. All right. Any questions?